Are you one of those people that are always stuck on this screen and not sure what type of save to do? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you the top 5 clubs that you can rebuild in Spain right now. Coming in at 5th place is a side that I love. It is Valencia. They were one of my very first TikTok saves. And if you don't already, go over there, subscribe to that channel and like this video and subscribe to this one. I know I'm asking a lot, but I really do appreciate it. Now, Valencia are a team that have had some great players in the past. Players like Pablo Aimar. What a player he was. Santiago Canizares, one of my favourite goalkeepers growing up. Absolute baller. David Villa, just to name a striker that doesn't get as much credit. David Albelda as well. What a player he was. They've had great managers in Claudio Ranieri and legendary manager Rafael Benitez. What a manager he was for Valencia. Valencia have got a big stadium. It was built in 1923. They need a new one. They've got a lot of financial problems in real life, and that is reflected in Football Manager. They do have a good budget in the bank. They've had a takeover. They've got some decent money, but when it comes to debt, the debt is actually quite high. Transfer debt of 12 million and a net debt of 104 million pounds. They are a club that has been in decline over many, many years, selling their best players, and your payable debts per month are actually quite high. It's 2.3 million pound per month. Money in Spain isn't great, but if you can get them into Champions League football, you can start to pay it off and it won't be such a big deal to you. And to get them into Champions League football, you are going to need the best of their squad. And their squad is very, very decent. Their best player is left back Jose Gaya. Been one of the best players on Football Manager for a very, very long time. The left back can score goals. He gets forwards. He bombs forwards. For me, when I did a save with them, he was banging in free kicks left, right and centre. And he is a big asset should you feel like you need to sell him to replace some of that club debt. You're also going to have good players like Mamarashvili. The Georgian goalkeeper has been one of the wonder kid goalkeepers of Football Manager for so long. He's now moving out of that wonder kid phase and becoming into his full potential. He is Georgia's #1 and he's probably one of Georgia's best players as well. Other players that you've got that could turn their career around are Mukhtar Diakabe. He's a centre-back that really has done very well, was touted as being one of France's best, but now finds his place playing for Guinea at international level. He's a strong physical centre-half and he will push you on. Now, the club's vision is to sell players for a profit and to record a top half finish in the league. So it's a fairly standard, straightforward first season and you can really look to rebuild Valencia. Can you bring Valencia the glory they had under Rafael Benitez and beyond? In at 4th place is Guillem Balaguer's side. It is Espanyol, and they're a club that are used to being in the top flight of Spanish football, but have recently gone to the wayside. They currently find themselves in the Spanish 2nd division. The other Barcelona side are seeing their big brother being their absolute shadow of them. It's a shame for Espanyol. They've had great players like Pochettino down the pass, who's turned into a fairly decent manager as well. Raul Temudo, what a striker he was in the early 2000s as well. He was a very, very good player at La Liga level. They've got a 40,000 capacity stadium built in the year 2008, so it's a fairly new stadium. They've got a lot of season ticket holders, and they have got a fervent fan base as well. The squad is looking fairly decent, I have to say. The squad is fairly good. They've got Francesco Pacheco in goal. He will be a very, very good La Liga goalkeeper. Bottom end La Liga. Definitely 2nd division player. Absolutely class. On big wages, that's the one thing you're going to have to sort out in the Spanish 2nd division. Being on 21 grand a week isn't ideal because there is literally no funds for that competition. It is unbelievably poor in terms of what you get back. Other players like Martin Braithwaite, who flattered to deceive as a football player. He don't know how he got his move to Barcelona back in the day, but he's got 10 goals in 31 for Espanyol currently, and is their best striker. He'll be good at 2nd division level. He'll get you goals. He isn't the best on the game, but he's a good start. He's experienced as well. Other players that I feel like that will be really good for you is Edu Esposito in midfield. A good, solid central midfield player for the 2nd division. And this squad ties into the club vision. You have to get promoted to La Liga from the 2nd division. There is no shadow of a doubt. If you don't, you will be sacked. They want you to develop players through the youth academy as well and sell players on for a profit. This is all about money. And the finances at the club are very good for Spanish 2nd division football. £23 million in the bank looks good at this stage. And then no debt as well makes it absolutely perfect for a rebuild. This club need a rebuild, not in terms of their finances, but in terms of their ambition. And where can you take this football club? Can you bring Espanyol out of the shadow of Barcelona and make them the biggest team in the city? In at third place is Valladolid in the second division in Spain. Now, these guys are owned by a Qatari sports group, so they have big money. Finances won't be an issue here because you've got a sugar daddy owner. Where the rebuild comes in is the rebuild of their ambitions and rebuilding them to be a big club in Spain. They're used to being in La Liga and they're used to being a fairly decent side, a solid mid-table side to bottom-end La Liga team. You want to rebuild their ambition and rebuild them up to being one of the best teams in Spain. And the club vision starts off that way. You're going to have to be competitive in the Spanish Cup, work within the budget, grow the club's reputation, which is something you need to do as part of the Qataris takeover. They want to grow the club's ambition worldwide. They also got Ronaldo on the board as well, the original R9, which is insane to have. And they've got to reach the second division playoffs. So they really want you to get to the playoffs and start getting promoted and start taking this team back to where they want the vision to be. Now, their squad is fairly good. You've got Monchu in the midfield. I love this midfield player. He's a solid central midfield player for bottom half La Liga teams. He's absolutely class. He'll be very good for you and a big asset that you could sell on in the future. Other players that will do well is Javi Sanchez. He's a very good second division, lower end La Liga centre-back. So the squad is there. You've got a good spine currently as well. Other players that I say that you should really take a look at are Darwin Marquez. He's on loan at Cadiz. He will come back, be in you for the second season, hopefully. And he could do something out on the left wing for you. The Venezuelan international is very good. You won't have him the first season, but you will have him in the second. Another player, Jordi Masip, is a solid goalkeeper, getting on a bit. Will do a job for you in the first season, but you do need to rebuild this squad. It isn't going to be good enough to challenge La Liga. When you get promoted, make sure that you follow my transfer tips that I've got on this channel, and you'll absolutely smash it. In terms of their finances are good. You've got £15 million in the bank and absolutely no transfer debt, which is something that is very good, especially with the Qataris. They're going to pump money into this club. They're going to give you good budgets. You're going to be able to one day compete with Real Madrid and Barcelona. Can you make Valladolid the best and biggest club in Spain? Runners-up on this list is Deportivo La Coruña, and you all thought they were going to be number one. They are one of my favourite clubs, and I will not stop talking about them. They give me so many flashback memories to the early 2000s when they had an unbelievable team. Dalj Mina, I've definitely killed his name, but that guy was like a Ronaldinho before Ronaldinho was on the scene. He could do some unbelievable things with football. Go and watch his YouTube highlights. He doesn't get spoken about enough. I don't think he's the best player, but his YouTube highlights are unbelievable. Juan Carlos Valeron, absolute legend as well. Roy Mackay, clinical striker in the early 2000s. Doesn't get spoken about nearly enough in this day and age. I could sit here and reminisce about Deportivo La Coruña all day long. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to rebuild this football club, and they are a great pick. They've got a good stadium. It's built in 1944. It is old. The Riazor has got an absolute cauldron of activity. They've got 28,000 season ticket holders in the third division of Spain. The locals love the club, and they are a cult hero club. In terms of the finances, there's £10 million in the bank. Third division Spanish football, that is big money. However, there is £13 million worth of debt. So there is some debt to clear, 215k a month. You'll be fine for a little while trying to progress up the league. And that is exactly what the club want you to do in the club vision. Gain automatic promotion to the second division from the third division is what you have to do in your first year. You've got to work within your budget, and you've got to bring success to this football club. And the locals will demand it from you as well. They are vocal. And their squad, honestly, their squad's very good for this level. Lucas Perez, you might remember him. Alaves fans, Elche fans, West Ham fans and Arsenal fans. He paid for his own move back to Deportivo La Coruña, and I think that's absolutely class of him to do. He will bag you so many goals in the third division. He's a second division player at his age and his current ability at the moment. He's an absolute baller. Pablo Martinez, another experienced player at centre-back, will do you for a season. Very good for Deportivo. 9k a week's fairly chunky wage, but getting into the second division, you're going to have to pay some decent money to players to come to Deportivo. Their squad isn't anything like you would want. An Ian Mackay in goal is no relation to Roy Mackay. At least I don't think he is. If he is, let me know in the comments below. But he's a solid goalkeeper at 36 years of age for this division. Can you take Deportivo La Coruña back to the Champions League, back to big time, back to La Liga, and make Depor one of the biggest and best teams in Spain again? But my number one pick is Malaga. They are in the third division of Spanish football, having fallen through the divisions like it's been tomorrow. Carlos Kameni was a great goalkeeper for them. Roque Santa Cruz was a great player for them. Isco's played for them as well. Dudar, Wellington, Antonio Tapia as a manager as well. Manuel Pellegrini had a great Malaga side in the Champions League, and it wasn't that long ago. This club has fallen off a cliff, and it's sad to see because they have some fairly good kits, and it's a great island. Who hasn't been to Malaga? It's a great place. And their club does need a rebuild. It needs a massive revamp, a massive rebuild. And this could be a task for anyone to do. And I would love to see someone take Malaga back to the Champions League and be the biggest club in La Liga. The club vision is to get promoted in the first season. It's a must. You have to get back into that Spanish second division. Otherwise, you will get the chop from the football club. The finances at Malaga, only £1 million. As you've seen in the previous teams, they've all got a lot of money. This is why I've put Malaga at number 1, because the task here, I think, is much bigger than Deportivo, in my opinion. Their debts and loans, there's only a very, very minuscule amount of debt which you will pay off in the first season, and you don't have money to work with. So you're going to have to bring out your inner Harry Redknapp in the transfer market. Get your loans. Zealand will be screaming loans, 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 free loans. Free players as well is my biggest one. Your squad. Well, your squad is very good for this level. Lucas Sanali is a very, very good third division central midfield player. It would be a good second division player, in my opinion, as well. He's got great stats, a good ball-winning midfield player, the 28-year-old Spaniard. Roberto Fernandez, 21-year-old striker up front, has got a little bit of potential, could be a second division player. Maybe if you give him the right mentoring and right training, could potentially do it at lower end La Liga level. His goal scoring record doesn't speak to it, though. 2 goals in 31 games for Malaga. But I'm sure you guys can turn him into a prime David Villa. I have a lot of faith in my followers. Other players is Kevin Villadores, another young player on the left wing. It's a good thing about Malaga. They've got a few good young players that you could develop and sell on. And this young lad has got decent pace and bags of potential for the third division, in my opinion. Other players that I like are Nelson Monte at centre-back. I feel like he's a very underrated centre-back for the third division in Spain. He'll be very, very good and could do a job for you at a higher level as well, which is always the stuff that you want to see. Now, the rest of the squad is fairly good as well. You should get promoted in your first season. I don't see there's any reason why with this level of squad you should not be getting promoted. Can you bring Malaga back to the big time, back to the Champions League, even potentially winning the Champions League and overtake Real Madrid and Barcelona as Spain's biggest and best team? And if you love these type of rebuild videos, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and I will see you on the next one.